Okay, moving on to part 8, which are the nacelle pylons. Look how beautiful these pieces are. Look how big they are. My hand on the side of it. And beautiful detail that's in it. You can see the grills in the front. Show you the other side, the back. There are decals for this part. I think the orbital dry dock has the painting masks for that too, but I'm not sure. But anyway, excuse me, the first thing we're going to do is wash them off to get that film off, and then we'll prime them. Now there's going to be, I don't really see any modifications for these. There's going to be no lights inside, so we won't really have to worry about painting the inside or priming the inside. I guess the only thing I'd have to do is make that just one section just a little bit bigger to pass the wires through. But other than that, the wires will go through nicely at the top into the nacelles, but let's see how the wires go through there. That's the only modification that I can see doing. Really, the most work on the nacelles for the pylons, excuse me, the pylon nacelles is going to be the patterns, you know, those really cool lightning bolt patterns. So let's go ahead. I'm going to wash it in hot soapy water and get it ready to prime. Okay, so they're all nice and squeaky clean. I like to use a degreaser, and my favorite degreaser is actually dish detergent, dish soap, hot soapy water, a good rinse, and a good dry. Let it get nice and bone dry, and then they'll be ready. We can move on to prime them. I'm not going excuse me, I'm not going to prime the inside, because there's going to be no lights or anything. So, just the outside. Okay, so I gave them a nice thin coat of the primer. I'm not going to do the inside, and I put a thin coat of primer on it. I don't really have to worry about light blocking or anything, because they're not going to be lit. So, right now I'm going to go ahead, I'll give them some of the finish coat, which is a Rust-Oleum white, and I'll show you what that looks like when it's ready to put the detail paint on. Okay, so the paint had a chance to dry and then cure. See how it's nice and detailed. The grill. Beautiful. Now we can move on to the detail and start applying the paint masks. Okay, so I'm ready to put the masks on, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually glue the pieces together so I can put all of the masks on, because there are masks that go on the front and on the back. Now once it's glued shut, I won't be able to pass wires through it, so what I did was I actually held it together and I made a couple of channels with a small bit of the drill, just so when it's together there'll be holes in which to pass it through. It'll be a lot easier to send it through the bottom than the top, to hope that we get it through the bottom. I mean, it might make it, but It's better just to be able to pass the wires through. Like I said, once it's glued, I'm not going to be able to take it apart. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to permanently glue it. And when it's dry, we'll start putting the masks on. Okay, so I just took the clamps off, and not to take any chances, I usually use the Plastruct, the Bondine, but because of the weight that this ship is going to have to endure, I've been using the crazy glue, especially in all the sections that need to be extra strong. When I put the vices on, or the clamps, I put paper towels on, but it still made a little mark, so I have to fix that and touch that up. So when you use the clamps, put like a cloth or something, because the paper towels aren't enough. But anyway, it's all set. We can pass the wires through, and probably what I'm going to do first is I'm going to paint the vents, because there's two in the back. Yeah, there's just two on the back. So the box art for the painting guide for the model for Polar Lights has them as like a duck egg blue, but when you look at the screen in Star Trek the Motion Picture, they look like a dark blue gray. So I'm going to see if I can mix something up. Maybe a dark gray. Maybe if I mix Tester's dark gray with the duck egg blue. Because I know the inside and the front and the back, that's some kind of a gray. But I'm going to do a little bit of mixing and try to come up with a color that looks like the screen version. Okay, so I masked off the areas for the vents, and it's all cut off and masked, and it's all ready to paint. So I'm going to give them a coat of paint, and I'll tell you what colors that I used. You know, the more I looked at the colors and I looked at the pictures of the ship from Star Trek the Motion Picture, I kind of liked the dark blue, the testers. I don't know if I can show you what this is, the enamel. Dark blue, 1111. I was going to mix it, and I put it in and I looked at the color alone. I'm like, you know, that looks really good. And I liked the way it looked. It was dark, but you knew it was blue. And when everything else is on and painted and the final coat of the clear is on, it's going to blend everything and pull it all together. I kind of like this color. So I'm going to wait for this to really dry well, and then I'll remove the tape, and then we can start on the Aztecing, or the little lightning bolts. Alright, so I love the way the blue paint worked. I didn't have to mix any. This, to me anyway, it looks like the perfect color. And once again, that's the testers. I took the masks off. The lines are nice and crisp. There's no bleeding. I learned to do it one small layer at a time instead of trying to get it all done at once, and then it would bleed through. And anyway, I'm pleased with the way this came out. So we can go ahead and we can start putting the masks on for the Aztecing and the rest of the painting. Okay, so I cut the pieces out, weeded the extra material, and then when you put the masks on the pylons, you weed out some of the lightning bolts. Now, you're going to do the 5 color like me. There's 3 colors that go on the nacelle pylons. I decided to take off most of the lightning bolts. I'm going to make them gold. And there'll be 2 other masks. So you can put the 3 colors on the nacelle pylons. I'm going to do the gold, the red, and the green. And I did most of the lightning bolts will be gold. And then I'll do a little less of the red and then less of the green. Anyway, that's how I'm going to do my pattern. So I'm going to put the masks on and I'll show you what it looks like when it's ready to start painting. Alright, got one side on. What I like to do is I like to leave a little piece so I can gently start peeling it back. That way there nothing gets disturbed. And I'll show you what it looks like when this side is done. Okay, so I took the tape, or the frisket off. Now, like I said, there's 2 other patterns for this. And it looks like they all have the same lightning bolt pattern. They say to weed it first, and then you can do different patterns and keep track. But I'm thinking if I do what I did on the secondary hull, and I put the masks back in the spot and keep track, I can do the different colors by putting one mask on. Because I found that putting the masks on and off, at least with this, the way mine is turning out, that the masks like to pull off the paint, the Aztecing pearl paint. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to put on these, and I'll show you what that looks like when it's all done. Okay, so I got the masks on. You don't have to worry about that middle piece because the decal is going to go over that. And I'm not going to worry about the ends right now because the inside's going to be dark blue or black, and the fronts are going to be the duck egg blue. And I don't think the back is painted except for the inside of it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the first of the 3 colors. I think I'm going to start with the red. Actually, I'm going to start with the gold. The gold will be first. Okay, so I took the mask off. I did the gold, the green, and the red, if you can see it. Yeah, that's a little better. I'll show you the other side. There's a little bit in the middle. Well, like I said, that's okay. There's going to be a decal that's going to go over that. So now that that part's done, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to paint the duck egg blue on the front, and then I'm going to paint the inside. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the inside black or this kind of a blue, because there are some things, some shots where it actually looks like it could be that kind of blue, and then there are shots where it looks like it could be black, so I'm not sure. But I'm going to mask it off to paint that duck egg blue. Okay, so I masked it off to do the front. I'm all set to spray it, and of course I'm going to be using the duck egg blue. And after it's sprayed, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I just gave it a few coats, a few light coats of the duck egg blue, and I'm going to wait for that to dry really well, and then I'll take that mask off, and then we can do the insides. So I'll show you what it looks like when it's dry and the mask is removed. So I took the mask off, and the front is painted the duck egg blue, and looking pretty good so far. What I do now is I got to paint the exhausts and the grills in front, and then the only thing left to do will be to put the sticker on, and then to put the protectant sealer on it. But it's coming along. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to paint the intake grills and the exhaust ones, and I'll show you what that looks like when that's done. Okay, so I painted the vent intake and the vent exhaust panels. I put them black. I put them testers black. As you could probably tell looking at some of my videos, I'm fond of testers and testers products. Rust-Oleum actually makes testers, and I love Rust-Oleum and I like testers paints. Anyway, I did the insides of the grills, and it's all painted. The lightning bolts look nice. The panels look good. I'm debating whether I'm going to put the decal on to finish it off and then put the clear protectant, the clear coat on, or if I'm going to do that after the secondary hull is done. I don't know. I might just put the decal on and then put the clear coat on it to protect it, so that way there it'll be done. But we'll see. I'll see what I want to do when everything is nice and dry. Okay, so I put the decals on, and these things are pretty small. They're actually decals on the sides of the grills. They look like dots, but they're actually little triangles. You can see on their back. Those are the decals that go on the back side, or the inner part. Excuse me, the outer part. And these are the decals that go on the inner part. So, I was going to use the microsol on it, but instead I'm going to let the decals dry, and I'm going to put the clear coat on it right now. Because basically all I got to do is glue it. The nacelle's going to glue to this, and this is going to glue to the secondary hull. But there's really nothing else that I need to do for the pylon. the port side anyway. So when these are dry, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a coat of clear on it and show you guys what it looks like when it's dry. Alright, so I gave it one coat so far, and I'm going to let it dry. You can see it really helps bring out the painting, the Aztec 3-color painting, and hopefully it'll dry to a nice smooth surface. Okay, so it's had some time to dry, and as you can tell, all the little bubbles kind of smooth itself out, and it's looking pretty good. I'm only going to put one coat on right now. When everything is built and I'm doing the final assembly, I'll probably go ahead and give the entire ship one last protective coat. But in the meantime, for this pylon, the port pylon, it's pretty much done. It's all set, can run the wires through the bottom to get to the nacelle, and it's all set to apply to the secondary hull. So moving on to the starboard side nacelle. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.